Right guys, change of subject. Now what I need you to get into your head is you already have this skill, okay? It's no different from skills you've used in the past, however, it just needs to be applied in a different way, and that's what you need to remember, because a lot of people don't remember it and think it's something completely new, right? So I'm just going to go back a step, just like I did with Ilya with the final question. If I said to you, solve a linear equation like 5x minus 1 equals 29. Now we've gone through how to do that before, and I've told you the things that I say I don't want you to do. I don't want you to talk about moving things, okay? Lots of people in the past say, oh, you move it and change the sign. No, we don't do that. This equal sign represents a balance, so both sides are equal. That's all that matters. Therefore, whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side to keep it equal. It doesn't matter that you change the value of both sides as long as they stay equal. So in the same way, if I write 1 equals 1, that's true, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, if I say 1 plus 2 equals 1, it's wrong, isn't it now? So the reason is I added 2 to that side, I have to add 2 to that side. All right. Now, that would, of course, make 3 equals 3. Fine. All right. So when you've got numbers, you can simplify by actually writing a different number to represent the operation done. Same here. So we've got this side has the value of 29. We have to do stuff to try and figure out what the unknown value is. So you all know the answer. We had it up there. The answer is x equals 6. But what would you tell me is the method at which to show that that is the answer? If I said, quite often in exam you get show that. So show that x equals 6. What would you do for it? Okay, so I'm going to write it all out, and there's a reason for this. So minus 1, and then I'm going to add 1 to that side, and I'm also going to add 1 to this side. What was the purpose of doing that in this case? To get rid of the minus 1. Okay, so that can cancel out, and I'm left with 5x equals 30. So I rewrite it just like I did here with the 3 is now equals 3. Can I ask a question? Why didn't you do something with the 5 first? Anna?
Because it's an x and you don't know what.
But we've got to deal with it eventually. So what was the reason for doing minus 1, adding 1 rather than doing divide by 5 first? George?
Because it will be comfortable for us to solve like this, like because we don't need to change 5x to something else. It's in the right place.
That doesn't really answer my question, to be honest, because you're just saying it's easy, I guess, to do it and 5x, but that's not really the reason. There is a definite reason why I cannot. Well, I could do the 5 first, but there is a reason why I've done the minus 1 and not dealt with the 5. Rico, what would you say?
Because you took the one away after you times x by 5.
Okay, so there's the thing, is that the 5 is applied, the 5 times is only applied to the x, and then the subtract 1 happens. So it's the order in which things happen, okay? So you have to take into account the order in which things happen before you eliminate them, okay? We'll have a look, just for your sake, about how we could deal with the 5 first, maybe another time. But we've got 5x is 30 now. What's the next phase? But what do I do? You've got Ollie, tell me what I do.
Divide the 30 by 5.
And not just the 30, but
The 5x.
so we divide both sides by 5. So I've got 5x divided by 5 equals 30 divided by 5. Now I am writing out everything at the moment. Now I know you'll probably say, well, I won't need to write it. Well, that's fine, but it will help you understand the next bit. What is 5x divided by 5? X, just x. Because what happens to the 5 divided by 5? What does it become?
1.
1. Okay, so it's not that it disappears, it gets changed to a different form. So it becomes 1x. And 30 divided by 5 is 6. Okay. Now, I'm just going to rewrite this in a slightly different way. Okay, just over here. Right. I'm going to do it like this. So I've got 5x minus 1 is 29. I'm going to say, right, it's 5x equals 29 plus 1. Are you happy with that? Yeah? So I've not done it to that side. And then I'm going to say x equals 29 plus 1, all divided by 5. Alright? So that's what it would look like before, if I didn't do any simplification. Yes, Jim?
Wait, why would you do that?
I wouldn't in this case, but I'm doing it just to show you a breakup of how things happen. So the divide by 5 has to happen to both the 29 and the add 1 you did. Okay, so that's
So do
important.
you put not correct next to it?
No, that is because if you do 29 plus 1 divided by 5, it is 6. Now, this is just to help explain what we're going to do next. Okay. Now, what I've done here, I have changed the subject, okay, of this equation, really, and I've changed the subject is now x. I know I've squashed that at the bottom, so I'll move it up. Right, so the subject is now x. Okay. Now here's where we move on. So we've got formulas to deal with rather than equations. So we look at changing the subject of a formula. So I'm going to put a, b minus c equals d. Any idea why that would be a formula where the other one's an equation?
Because AB it's something times x minus a number equals a number.
But why is it a formula, not an equation?
Because we would have to
You can't find
Okay, so we can't solve for anything in particular. There's too many unknowns. Okay, so we've got a formula, we've got lots of unknowns. Where we would have to know more than one value. An equation, you put one value in and you work out the answer, the other one. But a formula. So I've got to check now. Anyone already get what the subject? Yes, you can go.
Would it be AB equals DC?
D
No.
plus C. D
Can I
plus
just
C.
check? What is
Oh,
the
D plus C.
subject of the formula at the moment? No, AB is not the subject. Yeah?
D.
D. So currently D is the subject. Okay. Can you see why, Ollie? Why would you say it? Why is it D?
Because D is like the X version.
Well, actually, no. D is not the X version at the moment. To start with, the subject was 29, but we had to change it to make it X equals. So the thing about this one is, what is it equal?
It's equal to the sub.
Well, we've got equals D. So D is the thing that we would be looking to find out in this case. Using A, B and C, we would find D. So D is the subject.
And what if it was AB equals to D plus C? What would be the subject? D plus C.
Well, it would be either way. It's a good question, actually. There would be no particular subject. I tell you what, right, so you're already getting to the stage, which is quite good. You're already saying, well, we can already start manipulating this. So we would add C to both sides to start the rearrangement. So AB minus c plus c equals d plus c. Again, you won't necessarily need to write all this out when you're doing it. The minus c and the plus c make 0, so we're left with ab equals d plus c. Now, I guess the question you answered is a very valid one. Is there a subject to that formula at the moment?
Would it be
No.
AB rather than D plus C?
Well, there isn't a subject, because the subject is when you have one thing equals all of this. So we're kind of in an intermediate stage. I can't work out anything as it is like this because I haven't got a something equals something.
But if in the test there will be a question like this, what do we?
Well, no, because I would say to you now, for instance, you haven't got a question. So I would say make B the subject. So if I said to you that, what would you do now? Yeah?
Is it B equals D plus C plus A?
It is. Okay? So B is now the subject because it's the equals. Alright?
Oh, so you just move over the A onto the side?
No. Move. I know what you mean, but I don't like saying move over, put it on the other side. I mean, that's what it looks like happen, but you're not really doing that. So if you can get out of your heads moving to the other side, it will help you not make mistakes. That's all. So, for instance, let's, if I said to you now, make C the subject. So let's say I've got an equation, a scientific equation, to do with lots of different things in science, chemistry or something, it's a chemistry formula, and I know these two. Now I've got to work out what C is. Okay, so we've got two options now. We've got it in this form, we've got it in this form. How can we make C the subject? Actually, it's quite easy now, because we've got this form, we've got this form, we've got this form. What would you do? Elena, what would you do? So if I label 1, 2, 3, which one would you like to start from? Well, I've got to make C equals. So I've got to have a starting point. Where do you... Because I could just take us back to that one and make it C equals. Should we do that? Let's do that. Just pick AB minus C equals D. Make C the subject. Nico wants to have a go.
Is it AB minus D equals C?
AB minus D equals C, you think? What's your working then?
Well, since the...
Just tell me how to do it. How to show someone who didn't know what to do.
Well, I don't know how to explain it without, because like the words that I use, you get mad.
Oh, moving. Okay. I don't get mad. Farida, what?
You take C to the other side, so it becomes positive, and which is
I don't like that.
okay.
I'd rather say
You
I'm going to eliminate C from one side and add it to the other. Okay? So I'm going to have AB. How do I eliminate it from this side? By adding C. So I add C to that side. So we do D plus C.
And then you do the same with D, but the other way around.
Okay.
So it goes on the other side.
So now we take away D from both sides.
Yeah.
Okay? And it becomes AB minus D equals C. Okay? Okay. So, the point I was trying to make to start with is you do exactly the same thing as you do when you're solving an equation. Because solving an equation, you're just making x equals, so x the subject, but you can simplify the numbers, they change. In a formula, it might not be possible to simplify it. But do you remember I showed you just up there that that's what it would look like if I didn't simplify it. It's just like the formula. Yeah? So 29 plus 1 over 5 looks the same thing as d plus c over a. Same thing. You're doing exactly the same thing. You don't need any new skills. You just have to be able to apply them in the correct order. So if you can solve all your equations, you can rearrange all your formulas. No problem already. So if we have a look at exercise 11 E. So in my book is page 203. Okay. There's lots of formula that you will recognise or get to recognise if you're scientists. Right, so that's why it's quite a good crossover. You will have to do this yourself. I'll leave you to get on with that. So let's have a look. So it says V equals IR. Anyone recognise that formula?
Yes.
Volume, something.
No. It's electrical. It's volts, amps, and resistance. Okay, so we have to make it I equals. So we've got V equals I times R. So to remove the times R, we have to go divide by R. So I do the same to the other side. Okay, so I get I equals V over R. And the same thing for the other one. So I'm not going to go through that part. But I do want to go through, just before I let you go, U plus FT. Okay, I'm going to make U the subject. So it's just add FT. So let's subtract FT. So we've got S minus FT equals U. Okay? We'll carry on with this afternoon.